Okay, guys, we're back.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about some insights, especially from Yoni's perspective, still in the dealership and working in the service department, about really not so great vehicle service contracts, extended warranties, some of the experiences you've seen recently, Yoni, and maybe just some lessons learned for our audience if they're thinking about going down that path, buying a VSC and extended warranty. Now, before we do,
Yes.
I want to make both of you guys aware of something. You can self-quote your own extended warranty back at yourautoadvocate.com for free. We have a flat markup.
I can make it whatever I want.
We have the contract spelled out for you right there. The number of emails we get every day from people who say, hey, I'm going to buy this from you. Or even better yet, hey, I took your quote and I got the dealer to come down and beat it on price. It's a win. It's a win. Stop overpaying. I know, Yoni, one of the stories you're going to talk about is spending like $4,000 for one of these things. Don't do it. Never do it. Get quotes. We're here to help give you quotes so you can be more competitive. Isn't that cool?
Self-serve.
Self-serve.
I like that.
Yeah. So,
Yoni, yes, fill us in. What experience?
Yeah. So to get into that topic, and you're 100% right. And again, I love working with you guys, and I like everything that you've done. But prior to you, I've worked with AUL, the VSC contract that you guys offer, and prior to our relationship, they've always been competent, educated, easy to work with, advocating for their clients to getting their repairs done in a prompt time with quality parts. So if I'm going to throw a pitch out there, AUL has been a great company to work with from my side of the business.
It's almost like we did some research before we agreed to work with them. Just a little.
And then them too.
And them too.
Yeah.
But Yoni, so what were these recent experiences you had? Because I know you sent over a text and email. I mean, it sounds like kind of traumatic for the owners involved.
Yeah, so the owner has a higher mileage car. It's 7-8 years old, and they had some major mechanical issues. And long story short, it required a replacement of a turbo. So if you call in the claim, you initiate the whole process, review the parts and labor, and this what I would describe as a very low quality, expensive, very expensive powertrain coverage only contract. In their clause was that if they have the opportunity to offer a aftermarket or a part through one of their vendor suppliers, that they would offer it, or at least the value of that part cost, and it's up to the customer to purchase the factory part at paying the difference. So presented to the client, of course, she opted to go with their supplied vendor's parts, and we initiated the order process. So a week and a half later, the part arrives after delays that I can't even explain. And we do the installation. Everything looks good with the part. But we find that one of the adapter components going into the part doesn't fit to the part. It won't lock into it. So, technician is spending his extra time figuring out what it is, what could it be? Is it something that he did? Is it the hose that's connecting to it that maybe is deformed? And no, everything from there is right. And it's actually the aftermarket part. This was not an OE part. This was not an OEM part. A true aftermarket part was just, cut or forged or drilled out in correct size diameters. So reach out to the vendor, explain to them the situation, and they said that I have to contact the vendor supplier for them to send me another one. So I asked the gentleman who the vendor was, and he said he was unsure because it comes from their vendor supplier department. I said, okay, so I'll wait till they reach me, I guess. This is 2 days, this is 3 days now, and still no communication. I must admit, throughout the initial process of filing this claim with the company, that did require maintenance records, which as well added to the delay of time and inspection, that, he just wasn't, we weren't meshing well. I don't know if it was me or if it was him who had a bad day, but it just seems like there was no forward progress on the ball here to advocate for the client to get them their car back. Yeah. So now we're going on, 2 weeks now almost, and I start doing my own research based upon the shipping box that we still have for this junk part and tracking down who the vendor was. After calling 2 different suppliers, I found out who it was. They did have a company contract with the VSC company, and they said that, they'd be happy to send out another part. I said, well, I don't want the same quality part. I need to have a better part available if that's an option. So they sent me a link and they said, well, there's two options. There's the same junky part that we sent you, or there is actually the OE option. And I said, well, here's an opportunity to do it right or fix it right the first time. I said, what does it take for me to get that process or ball rolling? They said, well, just call the VSC company, tell them you need this part. They'll contact their vendor supplier department and they'll place the order. I said, this sounds great and easy, knowing that this was not going to be nice and easy. So jumping through all these hoops, finally get a hold of someone competent. And they said, yeah, we can send you that part. That's no problem. And actually, this works out better because our cost on that part is less than the aftermarket part. I was dumbfounded by it. I was just...
Yeah,
No wonder
why wouldn't
these
they have
products-
used that part initially then?
Dude, no wonder this gets such a bad rap. This is terrible.
So, and this is a company that I believe advertises on television. They cold call you. They send you these, letters in your mail. And
Did you get my voicemail about your extended warranty? Because I left you a message about that. Did you?
You did, yeah. I listened to
just-
it a few times, and I keep on listening to it. So, going through all these hoops, jumping through all this process, of course, keeping the client updated. They are, without their car now for going on 3 weeks, and the part arrives. It's the right part. It's the OE part, actually. So we know it all fits well. Inspected everything, and now the car is finally in the rebuild process. But the question became during the inspection and the figuring out process was that, well, the technician, unfortunately, because this is not common routine procedure to check to make sure that every connector fits on this part before you install it, is he installed the part 80% of the way. So the big argument was, well, who's going to pay us the X amount of labor times that the technician now had to spend to install this part on the car, then have to disassemble it, box it back up, of course, and then install the good quality part. So at first the VSC said that, well, that's not their problem, it's the aftermarket supplier. I said, okay. I spoke to them about it and they said, no, the VSC company didn't purchase the coverage for them to pay labor in the event of this situation.
Wow.
Never heard of such a thing. Never, ever have I heard of such a thing. So, forward and back and forth, long story short, after finally moving my way up the food chain, speaking with management, because that's what it had to get to, management said that they are going to pay the time, of course, for the whole situation. But, and the manager that I spoke to was actually pleasant, nice. He was informative. He said that this was one of the first times or the first experience that he's ever had dealing with this kind of situation, that they are changing the implementation about certain coverages that they now offer.
Wow. I wish you could mention names, but I know legally why we can't. But people just have to be aware of the fact.
I didn't talk to our lawyer. Just saying. So I didn't talk to our lawyer. So, I understand.
Well, you don't want to get sued just yet. Wait till the business is worth something.
I think, the most important part behind it is, number one, which I think we've talked about before, is, if you're getting these cold calls, if you are getting these, letters in the mail saying your warranty is expiring, your car's a 2019 with 10,000 miles on it, those are company to really stay away from. I wouldn't even waste your time doing your research. I think talking to the people at the dealership, talking to us, is going to be at least your way to get the information on what is reliable, what is cost efficient, and what is going to protect you in the long term if you decide to go that route.
Yeah, because obviously service advisors are the ones who would really know. F&I people might understand what it is that they're selling, but service
That's a stretch.
And even that's a stretch.
I'm not.
But service advisors are the ones that have to deal with these VSC companies to get claims approved, and so they know which ones make it relatively easy, pay in a timely fashion, don't force their customers to pay up front and that they'll then reimburse their customer. So if you're ever really thinking about an extended warranty, just walk into a dealership and, talk to a service advisor for 5 minutes to get their take.
The number of times I've told people, I mean, I no longer do the VSC consult calls. Kimberly handles them. Thank you, Kimberly. But the line we use is call the dealership, ask for the service department, ask them what their experience is with AUL.
Yeah.
I can tell you that, in my 10 years at the dealership, and that's really where you see more clients coming in with VSC contracts, not so much the private sector. So in the past 10 years, I can only account for, I would say, at most of 7 VSC companies that I would recommend to clients. Otherwise, and I'm sure that there are hundreds of them out there, 93% of them are junk.
What do you, I mean, it's like AUL, obviously, JM&A, I imagine. Zurich has, I would hope, good products because they're huge and everywhere.
Geico offers a good level of contract.
Yep.
Ford ESP actually is a good level of contract as well. Ally is another reputable company as well, mostly out of Canada, but also touches the States a lot.
Yeah.
Maybe 1 or 2 more. I just have to look at my list.
But then it's the 93 others that are, like calling you, haggling you, hassling you, and then you end up with experiences that you just described, which I don't know if either of you guys saw or read like the little manifesto thing I put together, but the whole concept is saving time, right? Like, no one wins in that situation that you just described. Like, A, I am so sorry that you had to endure and do that. And then B, it's like you and the person who owned the vehicle, like, you're both just getting pissed off. It's like no one wins. And so as much as we can help people avoid that situation for the Yonis of the world and for the individual who, was stuck with that poor contract, like, that's a win. That like time back in people's lives.
And a lot of money out of their pocket for a really low level quality of coverage, and you're getting low quality of parts put back on your car. No, for sure. I agree with you. I mean, listen, saving the time is important. We all have to do our own research, but I think a phone call, like Ray mentioned, is so quick and easy that you can figure it out right there and say, listen, can you help me? I'm looking at extended warranties, VSCs, and who do you recommend? I'll give you 3, 4, 5 of them easily, and you can then go from there and figure it out.
You know what else was quick and easy?
Me?
Mom used to say that. I never really understood
all the time.
What she was.
Yeah.
Was that?
Yeah. Hey, it's quick and easy.
We should sign off, Yoni. I'm good on my end, guys. Thanks for your time, Yoni.
Wow, that was quick and easy.
That was quick and easy.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Yoni.
Hey, listen, happy to be of service. Sorry I couldn't have been any quicker.
Yeah, I need to go recharge now.
Ray never had to apologize for being too quick. All right, see you, Yanni.
All right, guys. Good night.
Oh my God.